Alright, is mine recording?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Right, my presentation is on, as you can see, the origins of music, how we arrived and why it arrived, and ultimately why we're learning music today. We're going to be looking at three different aspects, the three rivaling theories. Most of them contradict each other, but we may find towards the end that actually some of them help each other. So the first one's Memetics. If you don't know what that is, we'll go into detail with that. Second one, we're going to be looking at Darwinism, so if music can be traced via evolution, or the side effects. So there's no actual theory for it, and music merely piggybacks on every other psychological aspect. So we'll start off with the Memetics. Does anyone have a clue what meme is? No? So it's an idea which replicates. It was coined in 1964 by Richard Dawkins in The Selfish Gene, chapter 11. And the Oxford Dictionary defines a meme as an element of a culture or system or behaviour passed from one individual to another by an imitation or non-genetic means. In other words, an idea which I have, which I pass on to you, you then pass on that idea to someone else. Examples of memes can be tunes, ideas, catchphrases, clothes fashions, ways of making pots or building arches. So just as genes propagate themselves in the gene pool by leaping from body to body via sperms or eggs, so memes propagate themselves in the meme pool by leaping from brain to brain via a process which, in a broad sense, can be called imitation. That's what Richard Dawkins said when he coined the term. So, what are memes then? We've got any examples? Yes. Memes can be infectious videos on YouTube. I'm sure everyone's seen that video before. Memes can be fashion. The reverse baseball cap was very popular amongst children. Was it the 90s or the 80s that was popular? So it started off in one particular school, perhaps one child thought that's a good idea, and then it infected and thus made its way from school to school. Memes can be catchphrases. Alrighty then, for example, remember when I was at school when Ace Ventura came out and that was all the rage saying that, you thought you were really cool if you said that. Or memes aren't always very nice. You can have the 9/11 conspiracy meme. I'm sure when the plane tragically hit that tower, not one person thought this is a conspiracy. It was only a few months after when people started putting websites up saying what do we think's going on here, that this started to become a massive thing. It's got to the point where if you go into Google and put in 9/11, it says, did you mean conspiracy? It's exactly the same with the lunar landing. No evidence really to support that it was a conspiracy, but that's what memes do. They take the best things. Memes can be an annoying advert. Of course, the great thing about a meme is it can get stuck in your head, and for the advertising industry, that's fantastic. If I go down the street and sing that, I guarantee that it will get stuck in someone else's head, and which in turn will make sure they pass on their annoying tune to someone else. And so, I'm sorry if that's stuck in your head now. So the three defining factors of a meme is the longevity, i.e. the lifespan, the ability to reproduce, and the quality of the copy. So a meme, something that lasts a long time. That 9/11 thing has lasted ever since it was brought out, since September obviously 2001. It's reproduced very well, where there's thousands and thousands of websites of the 9/11 conspiracy, and the quality of the copy is very important as well. If you take a copy of something but don't copy it very well, then you've not got the original meme and you've made it into your own. Daniel Dennett is an American philosopher. He's taken over where Richard Dawkins started off with the definition of a meme. He's quoted that minds are in limited supply and each mind has a limited capacity for memes, and hence there is a considerable competition amongst memes for entry in as many minds as possible. This competition is a major selective force. So, what is a meme then? In terms of music, it's very well to say that a meme is a conspiracy or a meme is a successful video, but how do we define it to music? Well, I'm going to play you 15 seconds of a famous piece of music. I promise you every single one of you heard what this piece is. If you know what it is, don't say, and I'll see how many people know. I'll play the first 15 seconds and see if anyone can see what the piece is. Anyone have an idea what that is? Nope, not good. But this, if I play the next 2 seconds, all I need to do is play a 2-second piece from the start of this symphony, and everyone will know what this is. You see, it wasn't even necessary to play the second half of that opening phrase, because that's such a successful and powerful part of that song that Memeticists would call that the meme of the song. That's the part which replicates the most, and the quality of that replication means that everyone in this room would know what that is. Doesn't mean that if I play a 2-second piece from any song that you'll understand what it is. So if I play another 2 seconds from this symphony, no one really heard that before, because that's not anywhere near as powerful as the meme of the opening symphony. So if we really applied that to music, we can get an idea of what a meme refers to. Right, Gary. Gary is early man. It's generally agreed that mankind's been on the earth between 100,000 years and 200,000 years. It's very difficult to classify species and say when it's not human, when it is, but we can place him somewhere in that context. Gary exists purely to pass on his genes, purely to reproduce. That's why every single one of us is here today. We're not here for any other divine purpose. We're just merely to pass on our sperm or use our eggs to create more copies of our genetic material. So Gary's got rivals who also want to have the women he's got his eyes on. How does Gary make sure he gets that woman and passes on his genes? Well, good thing for Gary is he's a musician. The bone flute dates to about 50,000 years ago. That's when that was discovered. Obviously we can trace music back much further than then. It's obvious to say that percussion would have been used before flutes, and vocals would have been used before percussion. So in other words, we can date music to at least 100,000 years in human culture. That's long before language was ever out. So music's been around long before language. So Gary is a very successful woodwind player, and he plays it very well. He plays it so well, it catches the attention of his rivals. The women in particular, just like today with the rock star image, love the fact that he can play music. And they start to get a bit jealous of him, thinking that's how he's getting women, by playing music. And so lo and behold, Gary has his wife, and everyone becomes very jealous of him, and he becomes a very successful man. And they have a bouncy little baby. That really, while it's a bit funny, it does demonstrate the fact that music would have been used as a terms of sexual selection, at least in its original days. So, what can we say in a nutshell about memes? Well, musicians gain social status. They not only gain social status within their hierarchy, but they also acquired the woman in the end, which is the purpose of being on the earth, evolutionists will argue. Now the rhythms, the successful melodies he played on his flute, or the successful melodies he sang, or the rhythms that were successful, were learned and copied by other people. That's pretty obvious to say, that if something was successful and was able to find a woman using that, that other people would have thought, I'll steal that and I'll use that as well. Therefore, very quickly, music started to become a way of getting a woman, and they knew exactly what to play, or what was successful to play, in order to find a woman. Or a man, but mostly bone flutes were actually traceable to men.